Japanese culture, samurai. In the United States, the term samurai brings to mind warriors, soldiers, and awesome fight scenes. It doesn't hurt to have a killer sword either. Rarely do people think of samurai as servants and peacekeepers in the same sentence. However, these roles are an important part of understanding the function of the samurai in Japanese culture. The samurai were formidable warriors whose traditions of honor and discipline live on in the Japanese culture today. Samurais were members of the Japanese warrior castle or social group. Since this group is no longer in existence, it is important to understand this culture and to be able to have a better understanding of the samurai warrior. I have done research and I now have a better understanding of the Japanese samurai. By examining the samurai code of honor, way of life, and the changes that occurred to this culture, I hope to share with you my knowledge of the samurai culture. First, the samurai belief in Bushido is integral to understand the samurai warrior. The word samurai roughly translates those who served, was originally used to describe aristocratic warriors. The traditional samurai code of honor was known as Bushido, or the way of the warrior. It was revived and made the basic code of conduct for much of Japanese society. The samurai were most often associated with a specific clan or lord. They were trained in military tactics and strategies, and they followed a strict rule set of conduct. A samurai was said to rise above his fear of death, which allowed him to serve his master faithfully and loyalty, and die for him if necessary. The wealth of a samurai in feudal Japan was measured in terms of koku. One koku, supposed to be the amount of rice it took to feed one man for a year, was equivalent to around 180 liters. 2 of these makes 1 liter. Next, the way of life of a samurai depended on what group was in control at that time. Beginning in the mid-12th century, control began to shift away from the emperor and his nobles to the heads of the clans. The samurai dominated Japanese government until the country's first military dictatorship known as the shogunate. As servants of the great lords, the samurai backed up the authority of the shogun, gave him power over the emperor. This ultimate samurai was supposed to be a stoic soldier who followed an unwritten code of conduct which held courage, reputation, personal devotion above life itself. The practice of ritual suicide was established as a respected option to one being dishonored or defeated. The samurai would dominate Japanese government and society until the Meiji Restoration of 1868 led to the elimination of the feudal system. Samurai class lost its privileged position when feudalism was officially abolished in 1871. It was also a golden era for Japanese art as the samurai way of life came under the sway of Zen Buddhism. Samurai created many unique Japanese arts such as the tea ceremony and flower arranging, which continues today. The next period ushered in a 250-year-long stretch of peace and influence in Japan. For the first time, the samurai took on the responsibility of leading through civil means rather than through military forces. Finally, the change that occurred to this culture eventually led to its extinction. In a more many samurai were required to become bureaucrats or turn to some kind of trade, as they struggled with trying to preserve their impression of themselves as warriors. Previously, samurai had made their way in the world by serving clans and lords. However, as this source of income declined, many lower level samurai were discouraged by their inability to improve their situation. Samurai became known as shizuku, a term which signified their previous status as a samurai. They were not allowed to wear their swords or katana in public. In the late 19th century, the samurai put to an end in favor of a Western-style national army. As a result, many of the samurai became very successful in the imperial army officers, or they served in other jobs in the government. We discussed the samurai code of honor, their way of life, and changes to the samurai culture. I hope you now have a better understanding of samurai culture and will be more open-minded when you watch movies of samurai culture. For people interested in Japanese history, samurai culture, and the role that this fighting class played in Japanese society is a fascinating one. Even though samurai no longer exists, the influence of these great wars is apparent in Japanese society, and the samurai legacy can be seen all over Japan, whether in a great castle, a skillfully planted garden, or a beautifully restored samurai homes. The code of the samurai is deeply ingrained in the Japanese people.